1 minute. 1 minute.
This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Hello, America, and welcome to the #1 radio station in all of Fort Myers Beach. Beach Talk Radio. Here are your hosts, Kim and Ed Ryan.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming. Sorry that's so loud. That time it was loud. Appreciate you guys coming on a Sunday. Take a deep breath, everybody. You've been through this before. You know what it's going to be like. Just get your stuff up, elevated, and everything's going to be just fine. Because Milton reminds me of Milton Berle. Does anybody remember Milton Berle from the old days? The funny guy, Milton Berle. Hello, Mike Miller. How are you? Mike Miller and Dawn are here. Very nice, dear. Would you like to say anything to our listening audience? Turn your microphone on. You are supposed to be on number 2.
I'm on 2.
All right, you're not coming in. You hooked up the microphones today. Is it on?
Oh, wait a minute.
You got to turn it on. There you go. Very nice.
No, I mean.
You got a fan behind you there.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Hey.
The Jets are playing the Minnesota Vikings in London today, which is very distracting.
Of the Jets or Minnesota? Which is your team?
The mayor is a fan of the Vikings, and I'm a fan of New York.
Jets fan.
Jets fan. Very nice. So I was over at Town Hall,
whatever you want.
the old Town Hall, like the Tops lot, and there is sand there. There's 2 piles of sand there. So if you have sandbags, you should go to Town Hall and fill them in. I was over there, and by the way, if there's some volunteers that want to go over there, I suggest you go over there and help for an hour. There's some folks that could use help. Sometimes they're a little older and they bring their own sandbags and their shovel and they're trying to hold one bag and shovel the sand in, and it just takes forever.
And it's heavy.
And it's heavy and the bags get heavy. So I helped for a little while and then I had to go. But so if you can go over to the old Tops building, you can get through the fence. The fence is open right on Estero Boulevard.
But there's no bag. You got to bring your own bags, right?
I think we need to ask Dan whether there's sandbags because you might be safe to bring your own sandbags. So
and I think
remember,
it's kind of hard to find them right now.
Yeah, probably. So what we did was we created a Amazon wish list, which is on our Facebook page. And what's going on there? Oh man, Van Ginkel. Is that Van Ginkel? Oh crap! They just scored a touchdown. Is that Van Sickle?
Wow.
Did he just intercept that, running for a touchdown?
And
this
he
is going to be very
looks like
distracting.
a Viking with the hair and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I think that was a defensive. Yeah, you suck, Aaron Rodgers. Oh, sorry. Are there any kids around? Jeez. Anyway, so we created.
If you're going to be that distracted, I'm going
they
to
need to shut those TVs off, please. These 2 TVs in front of us, they should shut off. We created an Amazon wish list that includes sandbags and bins. And as soon as they arrive, I'm just going to come down to Times Square or Santini Plaza, just give them all away. So people across the country are donating sandbags. You might have to pay for a little extra shipping so they get here on Monday or Tuesday. But no matter what comes down, I'm just, put your stuff in bins and try and get it higher. And, I don't know if they're going to tell people to evacuate. Today, the Lee County is having a meeting at 12 o'clock. The town council is meeting at 4 o'clock. I know Sanibel's meeting at 1:30. So everybody's meeting. It's likely that the town is going to cancel the meetings for Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. They had meetings coming up, but we'll let Dan talk about that. So the really sucky part about it all is it's going to rain right up until this storm comes through, which really we don't need any more rain down here. And then you're going to add on top of that a storm. So We'll be down here on the beach. Oh, and you're going to
Get your
Africa.
galoshes on.
You see, I have to figure out how to
Yeah.
make the rain boots work because when I wore the rain
You gotta
boots,
wear socks now.
when I wore the rain boots, I still have. I'm
Or
not going to hit you
pants.
with my wart from yesterday,
Yeah,
but when
no.
I wore the rain boots, it cut into my leg and it just still keeps bleeding. So I have to figure out how to make that work. Like maybe I'll wear long underwear.
Or
Who cares
pants.
how you look, right? So
I'm gonna not care how I look for the next 3 weeks.
she's going to be in Africa. She is going to help. She's going to save the world,
I know.
everybody, and she's going
I
to leave
know.
me alone here to cover the storm. So
If I like it, I may stay a little
Yeah.
longer. Who knows?
yeah, sure. All right, let's get to this show right here. It's not our show. You touch me. I love it when you touch me
Well,
like that.
I just
Do it again.
I don't want
Do it
that
again.
leg. It's got
Ladies and
disease
gentlemen,
on it.
your mayor of Fort Myers Beach, Dan Allers. Hi. Come on down, Dan. Dan's not stressing out at all. He's not moving his golf. Well, he is moving his golf carts. It's just one of those things where you're in a routine now where you know what to do.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
So first of
Unfortunately,
all,
yes.
I was saying that him and Andy are gonna write a book.
Buffalo Bills fan in the
they're
house.
gonna be like the original, the hurricane professionals here.
Kidding. So the
Yeah.
first question is, I know there's sand in the old Tops parking lot. Are there sandbags?
Well, it's changing minute by minute.
Okay.
I talked to Andy just about an hour ago. We've got another request in from the county to get some more. I don't know if they've made it here yet.
I don't
but
think they're over there. Would they put them right by the sand, or you
it'd
have
be
to
a
get
town
them?
hall. They'd
So
be
you
a
have to
town
go to town hall, which
to
is
get
on
'em.
the other side
Yeah,
of the
and
fence.
we'll have staff there till 8 o'clock tonight,
Okay.
and then the sand is at the old Tops property, and you don't have to worry about us running out of sand.
No.
We have plenty
Yeah.
of sand.
There's piles. Somebody asked me, "Hey, there's a pile up the street here. Can I just stop and?"
There's plenty of sand.
Yeah. I mean, nobody's going to say anything if
At
you
this
take the
point,
sand. You're
yeah.
trying to protect your house.
This storm, obviously people are panicked. You try to tell them now's not a time to panic. This storm is a little bit different because of the short time period that we're going to have to be able to react. So we're making sure we're telling everyone, be prepared, pack up what you need to pack up. If you can leave, we suggest you leave.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what surge is going to be yet. Nobody really knows. So it's a
But
minute
don't
by
go
minute,
north.
hour by
because,
hour.
I mean, you
It's-
don't.
well,
Where
go
are you
inland.
gonna go? Yeah. yeah.
Director Guthrie said it best after Ian. He said, people don't understand. You really only have to go about 15 miles inland
Yeah.
to be out of the way of any real imminent danger. So
Yep.
it's not that far to go inland.
Mhm.
Obviously, the sooner you can get a hotel room or if you have places to stay with friends out there. I mean, I heard you guys got an extra room or two. Maybe you could open
I'll
that
be
up.
gone.
You'll be gone.
So I don't know the
So
integrity
Someone
of
could
the
come and hang
house.
with Cookie in the pool.
So the thing, I mean, I thought he was joking yesterday. Yenier, who's the general manager of Margaritaville, comes up to me when we're setting up for the show, and he says, "I already got your room ready," and because that's where I stayed last week during Helene, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Did you see?" And he's showing me the store, and I'm like, "You got to be effing kidding me!"
Yeah, that
We
was our
just- come on.
first.
This one is a little bit different. It's going to be coming almost straight across the Gulf
Yep.
of Mexico, which is very unusual. And
And
when
the
you've got
Gulf
meteorologists
waters are
and you've got
warm
the
and
professionals
it's
saying, yeah, well, and they're saying they know it's going to intensify. How much it's going to intensify, nobody really knows yet. But by the time we really know what the surge is going to be and where it's going to hit exactly,
Yeah.
or within a smaller degree of what we have according to the whole West Coast right now, it's going to be too late to pack. It's going to
Yes.
be too late to get everything in
Right.
order. So you should really be spending all day today to get your affairs in order. If you can leave early because it's going to come. And when it does come, it's going to come quick. Obviously pay attention to all the social media places, pay attention to your,
National Hurricane Center.
whatever page you like
What's
to follow
that
or
app
all
you
of them.
have? That thing
Windy. I use Windy for boating, and it's usually fairly accurate. It
Uh-huh.
gives you really good location. You can look out 2 or 3 right now. This morning when I looked before I left, it was kind of just north of the Tampa area,
Mm-hmm.
Cedar Key kind of area. So it's usually pretty close, but it only follows one model. And
Right.
if you've looked at all the potential models that are out there, it could go anywhere from Marco up to the Big
Yeah.
Bend. So
Yeah.
you got to
They don't.
you
They
got to
don't
be
need
ready.
another storm.
You
Holy
gotta-
smokes!
You got to be ready
No.
if you're
Yeah.
if we're not. I mean, it sounds like we're going to be on the dirty side of the storm again, which we certainly don't want to be. But we really don't know what the surge is yet.
Yeah.
I know the county's going to have a press conference at noon. Obviously, I've been in constant contact with Commissioner Sandelli. As soon as they get information at the EOC, he's sending it down to us. We do have someone, obviously, like everyone else, that goes to the EOC,
Right.
but we're staying
Who
on
go-
top
who
of it
goes
best
to
we
the
can.
EOC?
Oh,
Danielle.
goodness.
Okay, cool. So the easiest thing to do is to pack up and leave like Monday or Tuesday, and you'll come back after the storm if it's a dud? Well, hopefully it's a dud and you come back.
And
Right.
this storm is going to be a little bit different than the one a week and a half ago, in that there's going to be more rain. That we were fortunate the last one that we didn't have a lot of rain.
Right.
This one, it's going to be on and off rain, sometimes
God,
hard.
can somebody
sometimes
shut
not
these
hard.
TVs off? Can please? He's just threw another interception. Can somebody shut these two off here before I lose my mind? It's already 10-0, and he just this Aaron Rodgers old fart just threw another
We may
interception. I
we-
can't take it.
We may or may not have another onesie for you at half.
No.
Oh,
Jeepers
get that
creepers.
outfit.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't take it anymore. I can't
Yeah.
take it.
But yeah, I mean, in
look-
all seriousness, today is
Yeah.
going to be the day that you have to get your stuff in order.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty rainy the next couple of days, and nobody likes to do things in the rain. So if you can be ready to go, I saw some of the stuff is still in Times Square.
Oh, that's the next question I had for you. Do the trailers have to go? Like, I know Moms is back. A lot of them came back. Are you telling those folks they have to get those trailers
as
off
of right
the
now.
island?
It's not a mandatory evacuation. It's a strongly recommend evacuation, but it's not a mandatory one.
But I think to
When
your
we get more
point,
information, if we have to make that call, we certainly will. We're going to follow suit with the county. They have, the latest and greatest up-to-date information and have people, a much larger staff than we do, monitoring it.
Right.
So we're going to take our lead from them. If they suggest that it's a mandatory evacuation, we're certainly going to follow suit.
Well,
to your point though about it coming so fast, like
But-
you can't.
And here's what I think
you
people.
can't. You got to give people enough time, but it's a tough
and
call.
here's what I think people forget is if you make it through the storm, that's one part of it. Afterwards, when your toilets don't flush, you don't have running water, you don't have power, that's when it really gets miserable.
Right.
And you will wish, I promise you will wish, if you haven't been through one of these, you will wish you were someplace comfortable.
right.
You can come back and work for the day, go back to the place and be comfortable again.
Yeah, get a place off the island.
It's not a fun experience afterwards. It's a lot of hard work, which we're seeing from the sand that we've had to shovel over the last 10 days. It's a lot of hard sweat equity. So if you can be comfortable at night to recharge your batteries, because I can tell you, going 2 weeks without a shower and
Yeah.
sweating in the last 10 pieces of clothing that you have and having to keep wearing them over and over again, it's not a fun experience.
Yeah, and the other thing to keep in mind too is if you remember Helene last week, the base of the bridge was totally flooded. There was no way to get off the island if you stayed on, because you could try, but a lot of cars got.
Well, and it's just getting to
abandoned.
the island. San Carlos
That's right.
Boulevard floods,
Right.
by the marina right over the bridge. So just
in or
getting there,
out, right.
in or out. So even
Right.
if you can get over the bridge, you're going to have a tough time. The Lee County Sheriff's Office swamp buggy
I
got
know.
swamped out in the
Yeah.
last storm.
Yeah.
So if they
Don't
can't
put
get
yourself
you,
in
it's not
danger.
worth it. It's
Right.
not
Don't
worth
put
it.
your. We've had too much experience with Ian and with this Helene thing where, if it's windy, that the fire department is not coming out until it's safe. So
Lee County
don't
Sheriff's
put
Office,
yourself in danger or put somebody else in danger that has to try and come and get you because
And
you
when-
didn't
That's a
leave.
big part of it, because there are people that will try to help other people,
Right.
and now it's not just yourself that's in danger.
Right.
There's
Right.
people that just have the heart that are going to come and try to help you,
Yes.
and now they're putting their lives in danger to
Right.
help you. So you just want to do what you can. If you can leave, obviously not everyone has a place to go. I believe that if this storm gets to what we think it's going to, the county will open up shelters,
Yes.
so you'll have places to go.
Right.
It's for a very short window of time. It's not. I mean, we've all been inconvenienced before. To be inconvenienced and for a day or two is much better than not being around to
Right.
be inconvenienced.
Right.
Well, the other thing too is when it rains and the roads flood.
Your hair looks so
Dear,
nice
how
today.
come you try
Thanks for
to
noticing.
detract when I
I did
start
it just for you.
talking? Can you not
Oh.
do that? So when the
Love her
rains
hair.
and the road floods, people can't see where the road is,
So
and so you're
nice.
much more likely to drive off
Yeah.
the side, get
Well, what happens is people, when the water starts coming in, they start to panic, and then they want to get in their cars and try
Yeah.
to drive off. And a lot of people end up getting stuck. People during Ian lost their lives in their car trying
Yeah.
to get away. So it's just better to do it ahead of time and we certainly don't think this is going to be another Ian, but you never know. Right now,
Right.
it's a very small window that we're going to have to be able to react to this. So it's
And the-
better to react. I was telling Andy on the phone, I said, I would rather have people calling me and emailing me saying we overreacted than underreacted.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think you've overreacted yet.
Yeah.
I think overreaction is fine. I
Yeah.
think overreaction is fine when it comes to stuff like this.
Yeah, and you can only tell people
Yeah,
so many
thank you,
times.
thank you.
Yeah,
I'll be
go
here
away.
all week. Probably I will be here all week. So the other thing too is, we're going to get storm surge. It just seems
Mhm.
like it's one of those things that we love to get on this island. And that storm surge, I said this a million times,
Well, I would
is
say we
no
love to get it.
joke.
It's,
I mean,
well,
it's,
and we've been unfortunate with the tides.
Right.
If this makes landfall somewhere on Wednesday morning, which is the initial predictions, high tides right around 7:10
right.
PM or AM?
a.m. So it's going to be early in the
Yeah.
morning. It's going to be high tide again. The ground is already saturated. So all this rain that we're going to get, I mean, we've had Earthview out nonstop since the last storm, cleaning as many drains as we can, as fast as we can. And did you break 109?
See, I am obsessed with this. If you don't stop pushing my board away,
Let me
108,999 followers. Somebody call your friend.
Oh.
You see, when I was on
So you're
Fox
short
News
one? Is that what
Radio
you
the
said?
other day, I
Short
was
one?
on. Did you guys hear listen at all? It was awful, wasn't it? It was a train wreck. Everybody keeps saying nice things about it,
Do
but
you
it
think
was
the
terrible.
wart came from when you crashed your bike that one time?
I don't know
No,
what the
he's
wart
had
is
it.
from, but I
He's
mean,
got
how does
some
how do you get
disease.
warts? That's what I want to know. I
a
got like
virus.
3 warts that I
Stress.
just
I don't
can't
know.
get rid of.
It's
So,
a virus.
You know, I thought for sure when I was on
Where's
Fox,
your knee been?
I thought, can I finish my story? You're
No,
constantly
no.
interrupting
I'm
me.
going to keep doing it because that's what you do to me when you start doing this.
Yeah, I like it when you touch me. I mean, this is a rarity right here that she's
Okay,
actually touching me, but I appreciate it very much.
As long as it's not with a hammer, you're fine.
I thought for sure that when I was on Fox News Radio, I would
What?
get like 5,000 extra followers. I got like 20. I couldn't believe it. And I pushed the beach big time.
Yes,
So you got.
did.
So
I
what do you
really
think,
did push the
Kim?
beach.
Do you think he got more followers or more ums in?
I did say a lot.
definitely,
More ums.
So
Oh, my
she calls
Lord.
me and she says, "Stop saying." And you know, I didn't really realize I was doing it until she called me and told me. And then I'm
were
like,
saying it a
okay,
lot.
now I have to stop doing it because I was doing it too much. But no, that was fun. It was nice to have the sheriff on. It was cool because the sheriff came in like through the back door and to see it come in the radio studio because you know the TV station is connected to the radio station, and those reporters at Wink are vultures. I'm sure they would have never let them go.
I was
And so-
speaking. So this morning I'm trying to load up a golf cart, and all of a sudden I get the crap scared out of me. This lady behind me says, "Excuse me, Mr. Mayor," and I turn around and she's like right in my face. Can we do an interview? And she got the microphone.
Was it Wink reporter?
I think it was NBC.
No, we don't do report. We don't do. Wait, after that whole towing thing, we don't do the Wink story anymore.
Yeah, well, it was. I mean, she was very nice about it. I'm sure.
So when I was in the studio talking to the program director of the radio station, he says to me, "I saw your post about Wink. If you know you're going to be okay. Like if I don't know if he thought I would going to be a fill-in host or something, you're going to be okay because they're our friends." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm over it." I mean, but the lady was wrong. I said, you know, the report was terrible. Nobody was towing cars, but I don't mean to beat a dead horse there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what-
you
I mean,
can't
we're-
get
Yeah, that's like
over
100 years ago.
anything. You're like a big
I said,
baby.
you know, and the reporters at the TV stations, they're there for like 6 months and then they move on to a bigger market.
Right.
It's not like they're here. It's not like they're committed. Well, they are committed to the community when they're here, but this isn't where most of them want to wind up. Most of the younger reporters want to go to a bigger market like Gage did. I mean,
Yeah.
he still pays attention to
he
our
made a nice
Yeah.
post today
market,
about the area.
but he's in
so-
Houston now, and that's a much
You know,
bigger market.
another issue we should touch on real quick. People are obviously wondering about the debris on the side.
And they're
streets.
asking about it on
Yeah.
Facebook.
Well, I know that. So Carter Golf is out there and they're picking it up as fast as they can pick it up. You know, stuff
Did
keeps
you?
coming out. You know, what? Uh-oh.
Somebody would have told their friend, "Thank you all."
You made it. That's good.
109,000.
Crowder Golf is out there today. You'll see more trucks out there tomorrow. They'll continue to work as long as it's safe to be on the island. At the end of the day, if you feel endangered from the stuff that you have on the street corner, if you have the ability to get rid of it yourself, certainly do that. If you need help, I'll be more than happy to try to help who I can. As soon as we're done, obviously getting what we need to get done today in order, I'll be more than happy to help people. But we're doing the best we can. We
Right.
haven't had a lot of time to
Yeah.
to try to catch our breath before this next one.
So yes, Pat, I don't know if you're asking me that or the mayor that, but
What's that?
I will be on the beach to cover the storm either at Margaritaville or at the Pink Shell or going back and forth. I'll have my bicycle, and I'm hoping that if I stay at Margaritaville, they put me out on the Gulf side so I can, you know, show people the storm surge because that thing is sick when it comes in.
Yeah.
I know I sound like an idiot when I say this, but when you stand on like the beach down on the south end and you see how far that water is away from the buildings, and then to think that, you know, the storm comes in and the storm surge just is so powerful
Yep.
and gets so far in a violent way toward those buildings down there. I mean, I feel bad for everybody, but those poor people at Leonardo Arms that are really jacked out in the water right there, they still haven't gotten the beach renourishment. I know it's going to be coming down there.
Yeah, I mean, they pulled the barge in again. So it's
another delay.
It is. It's,
Yeah.
it's you know,
What are you going to do?
think about it. The average is every 6 months we've been getting a storm. And I was talking to some people that were here during Charlie. Cole, I don't know if you guys know who Cole is. Yeah, so Cole is a great guy, builder on the beach and born and raised here. And he and I were talking yesterday. He's like, it's people that have been here for a long time understand the cycles. Not that it makes it any better. He said, but back when Charlie, he said he remembers living on Miramar, how the storm, they had 4 or 5 storms in a row over a 2 or 3 year period. And then all of a sudden it went 20 years with nothing.
Right.
And now it's like and then I was talking with someone else today and we were talking about it's almost like a mullet. You know, mullets were in back in the late 80s and 90s. And now they're kind of back in with the big, you know, Oakley glasses and roller skating. And, and it's, you know, if we're in that cycle, nobody liked the mullet then. We don't like the mullet now.
Yeah.
We don't like the storms then.
We don't
didn't
like the
now.
Milton now.
So a couple of things
Milton the mullet.
for folks to keep in mind is at 12 o'clock today. Now I'm saying and now I'm so frazzled by it. At 12 o'clock today, the Lee County is having a press conference. We're going to carry that live so people can see what they're, and you know, they kind of, I think the municipalities kind of take the lead of the county. If they're going to tell you to evacuate or they're going to go zone by zone by zone, you should know where your zone is.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Well,
you're
we're
in zone A.
Yeah.
Everybody on the beach is
high flood risk. Yes.
Sanibel's having a meeting at 1:30. If you are interested just to follow along with what's going on, and then you guys are meeting at 4. And my guess is you're probably going to cancel all the meetings this week.
They will. I mean, this meeting is going to be to, you know, sign the emergency declaration, which we'll have 5 now, which is, I don't know that's ever happened.
5 from different storms.
From 5 different storms with 5 different state of emergencies that we're
And what
working
does that
under.
do for
So
everybody? What does that
basically what
do?
state of emergency does is it allows municipalities to be able to do things outside of the normal protocol when it comes to life safety issues, when it comes to procuring things to get things done. You still have to go through the process of ratifying it, but it allows you to make decisions much faster.
Yeah.
But it becomes a paperwork nightmare because with each storm,
It's a whole different
FEMA
thing.
is involved, and each storm has to be documented just like the previous storm. So it's like, you know, you saw people that were going around. That's another thing I wanted to touch on so I don't forget. You know, people were seeing the town staff was measuring the height. We're required to do that from FEMA. FEMA's been out here for the last week. Whether people have noticed them or not,
Do they wear the jackets that say FEMA on the back?
They're doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing the town is. They're checking on properties. They're trying to document how high the storm surge was in certain areas. So it's not that the town wants to go out and do this. It's just a requirement that we have to do it to document everything in order for reimbursement, in order for the National Flood Insurance Program, and all of these things.
How are your reserves now? I mean, I can't.
Well, we just did the
How do you have
fiscal year
enough?
budget. So, you know, we were 4.5 million. We were able to get in there. So, I mean, luckily we're in a decent spot, but
Could these storms, if they keep coming, bankrupt the town?
no, I'm not worried about that. I mean, we have good partners with the state that are willing to help us anyway. You know, we're hoping we don't get hit as straight on or hard like we did before.
Yeah.
But we know this, that the state is behind us. You know, DeSantis is, you see what he does.
Yeah.
Right.
He is the wizard when it comes to being prepared and ready for a storm to get people out to help. You know, FEMA's stretched pretty thin right now. There's a lot of things that are going on, and
I saw
lack
some
of
story
action in some spots, and some, you know, so it's
Right.
you what we've learned is you have to be, since Ian, what I've learned, at least I shouldn't say we, but what I've learned since Ian is don't rely on anyone.
Yeah.
If, you know,
Especially FEMA.
you got to take actions into your own hands. Certainly, you know, apply for what you can apply for,
But you have to have the money in your reserve to get yourself through, because it's going to take forever.
Just like life, right? You got it. No one, people will be there to help, but that's only going to get you so far. You have to make sure that you can stand on your own 2 feet, and not everybody can do that. Not everybody on the island is rich. You know, not everybody that lives here is millionaires. We're certainly not millionaires. Most people we know aren't millionaires. It's every story, even millionaires. You know, I was talking with Tim, my business partner. You know, he's got a couple properties on the island, and even if it doesn't matter. I keep saying, you know, the economic level doesn't matter because it affects you the same. If you have more, it costs you more, right? If you have less, it still costs you, but it's relative to your bank account. So
right.
this storm is, I mean, these continued storms, it just keeps adding to the
I can't understand how Tom Torgerson and John Dammerman just don't say, okay, I've had enough. They just cleaned 2.8 million pounds of sand out of the pool so it could open up on Friday. And now they got this storm facing them again. And I mean, if they get storm surge, it's going to be filled with sand again. I mean, there's no way to stop it.
Well, I think that's it. Those two gentlemen, like most of the people on this island, like I've said before, we're an island of doers. Right now, everybody's will's kind of a little bit cracked. But people will step up. They know what they have to do. It's not like we're new to this now over the last 2 years.
Right.
People know how to get prepared. Some people have started repairs from the last storm. Some people are in the middle of it and are just leaving it to see what happens, which, I mean, it's unfortunate that you have to do that, but people are going to, right now we're like, God, really? But we'll do what we have to do to get after it. I always try to tell people, just be hopeful, be strong. It's getting harder for people to relay that message.
To rally.
But at the end of the day, it's like I always tell Megan, when things are outside of your control,
right?
There's no sense losing sleep over it. I mean, some people worry different than others. If I can do everything I can do to control my household and what happens to our pets and our belongings, that's the best I can ask for. Mother Nature is going to do what Mother Nature is going to do. And I can't lose sleep over what may or may not happen. You got to stay vigilant. You got to be ready. But
man, you're really talkative today. So can I get a question in here?
Oh my God!
I was trying to give you a break so you can watch your team.
This is what we might score here. But the other thing I wanted to ask is one of the things that I thought was not helpful during Helene was that the state of Florida did not take that sign down and allow people to get off the island when that road was passable coming off the bridge. Is something going to be, you know what I'm saying? The sign blew down and people were going around it anyway by Margaritaville coming off the island.
Yeah.
I think people couldn't get off because it was flooded on Crescent. So they were going that way, which made sense. They would just have to be careful because their cars coming the other way.
Well,
so what is the plan for that?
So at 5:00 that morning, we were meeting with Lee County Sheriff's Office. We had the fire department there and we were looking at just that. We knew that the water going around Crescent, and this is what we have told FDOT that we were concerned with, is when we do get an event like this, getting people off the island is going to be very, very difficult. There was enough room to try to get 2 cars to pass there. It wasn't going to be very safe. FDOT came down and did what they did and with the county and got that cleaned up as fast as they could. But that's a priority. We got to, I picked the sign up twice.
Yeah.
I know Andy and Jeff picked the sign up at least one other time. Some other people picked the sign up and it just kept blowing over. But I mean,
I tried to hide the sign. It shouldn't be there.
Well, it was, again, it's one of those things, like I said last week, it's a no-win situation. You're either going to send people into water or you're going to send them head on into traffic.
I would rather go head on in traffic and try and work it out with my fellow driver because people aren't dumb. You send them down Crescent Street and you're sending them into
they worked it out. The people that couldn't do it. The problem we were having is early in the morning, people were coming over the bridge that are here to work on people's houses.
Correct.
And you can't get them to stay away. And then they're getting stuck in the sand because you saw the 3-foot sand dunes all the way across the middle. Their cars were getting stuck in the mucky sand. The guy that came to check on one of his businesses, I won't say the business, right? In the downtown area here, his truck got stuck in the sand and had to be pulled out. And you're just creating more work.
Yeah.
Right.
It's take the day off.
Yeah.
Take the day off.
Don't come to the island on Wednesday.
There'll
There's
still
no
be
reason
work
to
there
come
the
to
next.
the
There's going to
island
be
on
plenty of
Wednesday.
work. Trust me.
There might be more work. So the other thing I wanted to mention was I think we mentioned this on the show yesterday, but you were there, but you weren't on the show. If you go back and Google 2015 and Margaritaville, when they were first building their TPI project, they proposed a seawall from the Best Western all the way to Margaritaville, a gigantic seawall that might have helped save the buildings in Times Square. And that town council they didn't. Do you remember why they said no? Because that would have been they would have paid for it.
Well, so when Margaritaville first came out, it was called Grand Resorts, and that was part of the Grand Resorts. They did the permitting on it. I have all the documentation for it. Margaritaville was gracious enough to share it with me when I've shared it with Spakowski, and I've shared it with the people that are helping us through the R2P2. I really think it's something that we need to look at. Would it have saved all the businesses in Times Square? It wouldn't have. They would have been flooded, kind of like what you're seeing up in Sarasota and Clearwater Beach and that kind of stuff.
But the smashing.
But it would have done 2 things. It would have knocked down the velocity. So the wave action would have knocked down. You'd have gotten the flood. You would have still had the damage from the flood, but the buildings would have made it.
You think?
And what would have been even better is because that that coastal protection system would have been there, it would have allowed for those buildings to be built back at grade because they would be outside the velocity zone now. So they could build them back at grade and they would have to be dry flood proof like this building.
Interesting.
So they could have built this building again back in Times Square had that
Right,
coastal
rather
protection
than go
system
up.
been there.
So why did they say no?
I think I can't speak for that council, but my guess is because it was encompassed in the entire Grand Resort.
In the Grand Resort,
the Grand
before
Resort
they
thing
knocked
was,
down
I mean,
the-
if you don't remember what
No,
that
it was
looked like,
big. It was too big.
massive. But I think if we could have kept that,
was it 17 stories?
no, it wasn't
Okay.
that big. I mean, it was grand, but it wasn't
Listen,
that
with all
grand.
these storms coming through, they're never going to have another meeting, so nothing's ever
Yeah,
going to get built on
Jesus,
this island. I mean,
Well,
holy
the
crap.
meetings are going to get longer and longer and longer,
Can you- I
unfortunately.
mean,
but
Poor Seagate. I mean, they were planning the last meeting.
well, all of them.
I mean, all of them. Yeah, but
you know,
Seagate was ready to
EIBC,
go on
you know,
Wednesday.
I mean, so
Tuesday.
Seagate was ready. I mean, everybody.
The IBC, yeah, that was coming up
it's,
Monday.
You know, but you have to do what's in the best interest of. Hey, that's Howie.
What are you doing?
Is he watching the
You can't
TV
park
game or
there.
is he?
What the hell is? That's.
I don't think I've ever seen Howie in a car.
I know he's usually walking. Or that's Howie, the
I didn't even
softball
know
guy.
Howie had a car.
What's his last name? Hoffman.
Yeah.
He runs the town softball league or
Yeah,
some softball
yeah.
league over that they play behind.
Yeah. They got
Bay
2
Oaks.
hours of play,
I was
2
like,
hours
is
of drinking,
someone
and 2
coming
hours
up
of napping.
behind us?
I know what. Nobody's
I
running in the
know.
football game.
I
So what
know.
was
I
he
don't know what
talking
he was
about?
running. I don't know.
I was like, is something
He's the
coming
dog
up
whisperer
behind
too.
us?
He's always
Yes.
he's got like
Yeah.
20 dogs that he doesn't own, but he's always taking care of.
He's got
wonder,
that little tiny dog yesterday.
I wonder how many
Howie.
pets got blessed at the church.
that's
Jesus,
right.
Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody please shut these TVs off or just put me out of my misery watching
I
these
think
New
I
York
can
games.
do that.
You should just make purple your favorite color.
Well, the good news is the Mets came back and beat the Phillies yesterday,
they?
which was amazing,
Did
and the
they? Yeah,
Yankees
good.
beat the Kansas City Royals. So baseball is still going on.
Yeah, well,
Can you imagine if there's a Subway Series, the Mets and the Yankees? That'd be awesome.
hard to focus on a lot of those things. Going
Yeah, I
on.
know,
Yeah.
right? Right. So again, the first meeting to keep an eye on, folks, is when we got 300 people watching live today. So I just want to make sure I repeat it a couple times.
Mhm.
The first meeting to watch is the Lee County meeting at 12 o'clock, and
Yep.
we'll rebroadcast it on our page. And it doesn't hurt to rebroadcast the Sanibel meeting at 1:30 just to see what they're doing.
Yeah,
Because-
I haven't had a chance to talk to the mayor or to Holly yet to see what their meeting is about. I'm guessing it's probably along the same path as to take care of the declaration of emergency
Yeah.
declaration.
I mean, they had a lot of sand. The pictures
Everyone,
of the monkey
I mean, it's
duck
just- you
over
look at-
there was all
you-
over the place. I mean, it was-
that last
oh.
storm was so widespread, and,
Yeah,
and
it's
it
crazy.
created so much damage. You look at St. Pete Beach, all the twisted monkey and all those things up there that are just full of sand. Fortunately, their building survived, but it's still
But now this is
devastating.
I
now
mean-
this is coming, and again, this one is a little bit different because we don't have any data 48 hours before it's going to hit us.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that like you knew what was coming. You knew we were
you
going to
knew,
get it.
well, you knew the last one they're talking, 6-foot storm
What
surges,
do you
3
got?
to 6 foot storm surges, and
Uh-oh.
yeah, see, there's more like it's going to be an hour to hour thing. You
Yeah.
just got to be.
Did
I
they
can't
change
stress
the
it enough.
timing of it yet?
Get your stuff ready to go.
So he's saying it's starting to move south. So, well, I'm sure
It's-
people watching are flipping back and forth to. I mean, I follow Matt DeVette and Allison Ray. Allison's on NBC. I don't follow Mike
Well,
the weather guy.
yeah, well, the
Everybody else does.
Everybody else does.
The message today is very clear.
Get
Have your stuff prepared.
To go.
If you want to, you've got to be really. Allison Ray said it best in her post. What she's doing at her house is what I think everyone should be doing. You should be prepared to move in a moment's notice. You got to be prepared to get out of Dodge or leave early. If you have a place to go, just leave. It doesn't hurt anything. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
What's going to happen is going to happen. At this
Like
point.
if you are,
Take the day off.
or if you have
Some
a
people
flight-
might have to take the day off.
or if you have a flight to Africa, you should just go to Africa if that's what you're in. If you're just planning to
gonna try
leave,
still
leave everybody high and
hotel.
dry here
Yeah.
or high and wet here as you go fly to the Sahara Desert. So
That's not that part of it.
she's got like 18 bags. I don't know how this works. Like she's got 18 bags full of Legos and toys for the kids and
Backpacks.
bags.
Hey, that'll
and-
put a lot of smiles on faces.
no, but how do
Yeah.
you get away with that many bags and it not costing
Because we're-
$50
You
a
just have
bag?
to check your
No,
credit
we're
card balance
flying.
later.
No.
She says
We're
to me,
flying with the schoonovers, and they've got special treatment.
she says she had to go to the bank on Friday to get money to take with her
Oh,
to
yeah.
Africa, and she goes, "I got $16,000 in my
Yeah,
in my
know.
my
Speaking
envelope."
of the schoonovers, they're not here.
67.
Normally they're here. They're not.
No,
Well,
I think
I know
they're
he's-
trying to get ready.
Ed's in
And he
Minnesota.
just-
No,
well,
he's
he
back.
came tonight.
I
Or
heard he
yes,
was
last
back. I
night,
saw-
yeah.
So I'm like, you're taking $16,000
No,
to Africa? $67,000. Holy
not
crap.
not dollars,
So-
shillings.
Oh, speak of the devil, look who's pulling in.
Yeah.
We're
Oh,
supposed
what's
to give
going
him a
on over
hard
there?
time because he went back. I heard he went back to Minnesota and left his beautiful wife
Yeah.
to handle that last
I
storm
know.
all by
Oh,
herself.
she was here alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see the size of their dog? Yes,
Hazel,
that
yeah.
dog's a friggin'
Oh my
donkey.
gosh.
They have a
But
Great
she's
Dane that's
so
6 feet
sweet.
tall.
His head comes up to my chest.
She's so
her head.
sweet,
Yeah,
though.
super
and
nice
the other
dog.
one is big too, but not as big as Hazel is.
I couldn't
definitely
believe when I
big.
walked in. I thought they're giving pony rides. At the,
Well, I was at their house the other day, and Janelle had the gate open, so she said, "Try not to let the dogs out." So I went down and opened the door, and Janelle said the word "go" to me, and the dog was like, "All right, I'm going." And I turned around, I was like, "Hazel, you're not getting past me." That dog looked at me and laughed.
That's
Like,
a giant dog.
the dog
Lady,
probably weighs more than you.
Oh, it's 160 pounds. Yeah.
See, dear, what is my dilemma this week is I'm coming down to cover the, who's that? Oh, Tom Houghton from La Oldest calling. Maybe he wanted to come on the air and let us know what he's doing. So
Go ahead.
I don't know how to
Oh.
plug him on. I wouldn't do that to him
You're a
without letting him
radio
know
guy.
ahead of time.
Yeah.
How does he not know we're doing a show? Like everybody knows we're doing it. He's probably in a
everybody-
paddock down there.
Everybody's
Has
a
he
little
been-
discombobulated.
No, he hasn't been
Yeah.
watching. So what was I saying? I totally forgot what I was saying.
I don't know.
What was
Something
I saying?
about your
About
Jets stink.
Schooner.
No,
Numbers.
I wasn't saying my jets stink. About what?
Something about Ed.
Oh, the
Schoonover.
dogs. So
the
she's
dogs.
going to Africa. We've got 2 dogs, possibly 3 when she goes to Africa, and named Tony, the
Who's
Rottweiler. And so I'm trying to figure out,
Do you
should I
wanna
take the
it?
dogs
See if
to
he's
the
got an
beach?
Call him
update or
afterwards,
something?
How you guys want to have a private conversation?
No,
when
he
I'm
was
trying to
getting
tell
a
a
phone
story.
call too.
Oh.
More
So-
important than you.
So I asked my sister if she could come out, but she's already at Jamie's house, so she's taking
Right.
care of Jamie's house. So I might need to rent a body or something. Somebody come out and
No,
watch
Maria's
the dogs.
gonna do it.
Oh, Marie's gonna do it. Yeah. So that, or I could just bring Cookie down to the beach and
There you
She's
go.
struggling the past couple of
yeah,
days.
she's
her
getting old.
legs.
She's
Yeah.
getting old. Yeah. So we might need a Rottweiler
See,
just
if
to
you
kind of
get- if you-
overlap them.
Yeah, you're gonna come back to a dog.
Tony the
As
dog.
long as I come back to only 2.
Yeah.
Either 2
So will you
dogs
throw Tony a
or
bone?
dogs and no
See what I did there?
husband. But
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
what I-
coming home to a husband and 3 dogs.
That's
Yeah,
not
Tony.
right.
Tony needs to get the dog.
That poor dog. The girl that showed us the dog said that she saw the dog somewhere on, I don't know what website it was, but the dog was up for adoption and they had one of those thick chains around the dog, like it was, so
Like a junkyard dog.
yeah, but I mean, the dog didn't need to be wrapped
Yeah.
in a big giant chain like that. So I took the picture down because people thought the dog was still chained up that way. The dog is not chained up that way. She's got the dog in her house. And for some reason, the dog would not go to the bathroom outside. Like she'd take the dog for a walk, like for a mile walk, and then the dog would come back in the house and go to the bathroom. So I don't know. So whoever had the
But
dog beforehand.
So,
Right.
I talk to Captain Layler all the time, and he knows that when Megan was wanting a second dog, that, if we're going to get one, it's going to be a Rottweiler. So I said, if one comes into the society, let us know. So he called me and said they rescued one that was almost the same situation. It was tied up to a chain in the middle of nowhere
Mhm.
and was left. And the neighbors finally called and they came and picked it up, and they have to give so much time for the owner
Right.
to come forward to get it. And when I talked to the sergeant who was in charge of it, he's like, there's a pretty good chance that they're not going to come forward, because if they do, they've got
Oh,
They're in trouble.
they're
Right.
they're not going to. But if they don't, we'll reach out to you and you can adopt the dog. And then the day before the deadline, they came in and got the dog, and then were handed some very heavy
Fines.
fines.
So the thing is, when you mistreat a dog or a pet like that, I really think you should be shot. I mean, you should be allowed to shoot people that
Well,
do
I
that.
wouldn't go that far,
Just
but
give-
you know what? That just says your
Just in the
personality.
leg or in the
You're
foot or
just-
something. I
you know
don't mean
what?
kill somebody, just wound them.
Well, I maybe you need to get
Or
the
a
same
taser,
treatment,
or a
eye for an
taser.
eye thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And so what
Spend
I
2 days out there in a chain with no food and water.
right, yeah. That's the way I was raised. My parents would put me out with a chain around my neck and
Oh
just
my Lord.
yeah. That's how you toughen up kids.
Well,
though.
that
I mean, that's
explains
how
a
you
lot.
learn some.
That explains the wart.
No, he's a comedian too. He's your mayor and he's a comedian. No,
A
so
little
one of the
levity to the
one of the
show.
things that the sheriff said during my award-winning interview with the sheriff while I was on Fox News Radio the other day was he said that they have this thing called Nan's. I forgot.
Nan's Ranch.
Nan's Ranch,
Yeah.
where they have all these animals that they
Yeah,
either
we gotta
rescue
go
or
Yeah.
and so JJ and Jason called me and said, they've been collecting supplies for the Big Bend area for like the last week.
They do a great
The
job.
Yeah,
restaurant
they
is
do.
completely full. And so she called and said, we've got like 1,000 pounds of cat and dog food.
Mhm.
And does the sheriff want them? So I texted Anita at the sheriff's department, and so they're going to pick up a lot of the food that was donated
Take it up to
for
Nan's.
take it up
You
to
know,
Nan's
they-
Ranch.
I don't know if I've ever told the story, but after Adalia, we went up to Sewanee with JJ and those guys from Margaritas, and they had a someone had donated a U-Haul truck, and that truck, when I pulled into the parking lot, I was like,
You did tell this story. but
oh,
tell
I'm
it
like,
again.
the tires are gonna fall off that thing. So we started heading up 75.
And sure enough,
Ooh, and just like that, Rogers is crying on the side.
Please escort these people out of the restaurant. It's 17-0.
So
This is what you get with a 41-year-old quarterback.
Well, this is the Vikings. It'll end up being 21-17 will be the final score. But-
ridiculous. Turn these TVs off.
so we're going up 75 in this overloaded truck. And sure enough, one of the tires goes, and it's sitting so low on the side of 75 that you can't get a jack under it. So there were 3 or 4 of us that were caravanning together with stuff, behind the
Yeah.
U-Haul truck. So we finally were able to get it high enough where we get the tire off. So Megan and I took the truck and drove into town to find a place to put a new tire on it. Got a new tire on it, brought it back. We were able to get it on the side of the road. This was hours it took to do this. So we get it back on the road, and we decide that it's probably a better idea to get a heavier duty
truck.
U-Haul.
Yeah.
So we go back into town,
We're gonna
find
need
a
a
U-Haul
bigger
place,
truck.
Yeah.
leave that U-Haul there, rent a bigger U-Haul, and then load everything from that U-Haul into a heavier U-Haul.
Good grief.
And then we made it up there, and just like I heard him on the radio with you the other day. Just like he said, when we got there after Adalia, I mean, they came, the first responders, the fire, everybody. They came, they just came, and that truck was unloaded in like 5 minutes.
Well, and if there's any kind of help that we're going to need to have for Fort Myers Beach, we'll do the same
Yeah.
thing that we did during Ian, or figure it out, maybe
Yeah.
Buttonwood or whatever. I mean, hopefully
Yeah.
it's not going to be that bad, but you never know. And right now,
We don't.
you
that's
can't really
yeah.
tell what's
No.
going on now. But somebody that joined late, I don't think it's bad to repeat it about the trash, about the garbage. Go ahead.
No, Crowder Golf is out there. That's who our debris cleanup company is. They're out there. They started on Thursday. I saw a truck out on Thursday, and they were out there on Friday, and they'll be out there again. We're hoping to get more trucks down here tomorrow. We are doing our best to get as much off this island as we can, but the reality is it's a short time frame between the sand, trying to get the drains clean. I don't know if you've seen Earthview out there. They've been on
Right.
side streets trying to clean as many drains. We just haven't had a lot of time, and it's not an excuse, but we're doing the best that we can.
So there's no guarantee that it's going
there's
to
no
go.
guarantee
So
that
if
we're going
you
to be
have a
able to get
truck-
it away, but we're certainly trying.
Yeah.
And if waste management, we're working with them. Maybe we can get a couple dumpsters down here. I don't know. We're working. Andy and I are talking when we're working with staff to try to figure out everything we can do to try to get as much out of here as possible. But the reality is, we're probably not going to be able to get it all in time.
Right. And the other thing is there is sand at the Old Tops parking lot.
Yes.
It's not a town hall. It's in the Old Tops parking
Yes.
lot. So if you go
Where the
driving
fire
around
department is gonna
to,
be.
and the gate is open on Estero Boulevard. So if you need sandbags, there's no downside to taking sandbags. There's enough sand there, and they're
Just
going to
bring your bags.
bring
and-
bags right
Just
now.
before the show, I talked to someone that was at Lowe's and Home Depot, and they're completely out of sandbags. They're
Yeah.
completely out of flex tape. They're completely out of all of that stuff. So, well, hopefully after the show, I'll get an update from Andy on the county being able to get us some more sand. We're doing everything we can, but as you can imagine, they're going out the door pretty quickly.
And you don't really need to go to, if you have sandbags and a shovel, you don't really need to go to town hall. There's piles all over the beach. Just take the sand and protect your house.
We would ask that you go get the sand from there because it's a different type of sand. But
Yeah.
the sand that
Nice
is-
job, dear.
Yeah,
Nobody's going to get in trouble.
Well, the sand, the sand that we want to sift it and put it back on the beach is what we'd like to do. That's
Well, I
expensive.
mean,
sand.
10 sandbags will not really impact
Mm.
that pile
No,
over there.
10
so.
times 1,000.
So don't do what I said,
Don't
people. Do
let
what
him
you're
do the
supposed to
math.
do, but don't do what I said because you're going to get in trouble.
Or warts.
The Sandman or warts. Yeah. How dare you? So, and the other thing is we are going to stay here. Well, I don't mean stay here, but we are going to make sure that you see all the meetings at 12 o'clock, the county meeting, 4 o'clock, the town's meeting. And
I'm glad to
they're-
know you'll be busy.
Yeah. And there's probably not
And you
going to
got
be a
help
town
with the
council
dogs?
meeting.
'Cause
Yeah. It's going to be bad. It's
No,
going to be
Marie
interesting.
is going to help
Yeah.
with the dog. Marie's got a bad wheel, but she'll
Well, now he
figure it
doesn't have
out.
to focus on 109,000 followers
true.
anymore. So he's going to have to.
I do have to focus. Well, the thing that was disturbing last week is I only had to do that show for 3 hours on Fox, And I was so stressed out about, I said it yesterday, when you're sitting here and you're doing a show with two other people or one other person, it's easy. You don't have to talk the whole time, even though she tries to talk the whole time and doesn't give me any time to get anything in. But when you're sitting in a studio by yourself and that microphone comes on and you're supposed to talk by yourself for 3 hours, there's no audience there. It's different. It's a different thing. And Spencer Roach called in the 8 o'clock hour, and he was very nice. He gets it because he's done that show before. And so, I can interview people. The interview is the easy part. It's when, you're on a station that all they want to do is talk about Trump. Everybody wants to talk about Trump. And I don't really want to talk about Trump. I would rather talk about Fort Myers Beach or Cape Coral or single member districts or Lee County, stuff like that. But I don't know that people care about that at that radio station.
Well,
I really don't.
I think what people are starting to care about is that people want their government to help them, right? That's what they want. If you haven't heard, there's a company out there. I don't know if they're a company, if they're a 501c3, but I've gotten introduced to them over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's called Mercury One. Glenn Beck is very involved. I heard you talking about Glenn Beck. Mercury One is every dollar that you donate to that organization goes back to helping people. I mean, they've got people flying helicopters, their own private stuff in, providing things. So if you haven't looked up Mercury One and you want to help a national
Mercury was the
organization-
name of his company. Mercury Broadcasting or something.
It's worth checking out. I was looking into it last night, and it's a pretty good organization. There are a lot of good people involved in that are stepping up to help the people that really need it.
So I do want to say,
dark.
Yeah, it is getting dark. I do
It's
want to
going to be
say,
like this for 2 days. You're going to have rain on and off.
Yeah.
It's not going to be pleasant to get ready. So
I do want to say thank you to everybody that donated the other day. What the hell did we raise money for the other day?
The Book Nook.
Oh,
The Book
jeez,
Nook,
I
yeah.
totally forgot. Annette at the Book Nook. By the way, the Islander is open in Santini
yes,
Plaza.
it is. Congratulations, Anita.
Anita, hopefully she's putting sandbags around the outside of her place. She doesn't need water in there. It looks so nice. So if you have a chance to go, I really plugged the Islander in Fort Myers Beach on the radio, but Annette's not open yet. She needed a few things to get open, like a sign or couple of things. So in 1 hour, you guys donated $2,000. You only needed $1,500, but you got $2,000. Kim delivered the check the same day that we raised the money. We were able to deliver it to her, and that is what's really cool about this audience, man. You put a limit on the amount of money that people can donate, makes it so that everybody can participate. Because every once in a while, like your wife donated after I said, stop donating. She sent in a donation after the fact, so I had to send it back to her. But there were 5 people that did that. There were 5 people. Because once you cut the check, I want people to see that it was the exact amount.
Right.
That
We
we don't
don't
want
need any
people
of this
saying, what are they
crap
doing
again."
with the money that they accused us of last time we did this. So you make it a
Every
whole
time.
So
yeah.
here's I haven't even told her this yet, because
Oh,
I
great.
think that we're going to continue to raise money for things like that. So we're going to create our own 501c3 called the Yellow Army Events. What do you think of that, Dan? And so, yeah, we're going to create a
gonna have
501c3 or because of the races and the things like that. This way it's completely official. People can look at it. We'll have our own board. The reason I never did that the last couple of years is because it's not only expensive to start one. I think Tim and Heidi can probably attest to that. Is that I think it slows
It's a lot of
things
paperwork.
down. I
It's a
think it
lot of
slows fundraising down. Like on Friday, you raise the money and you write the check, you deliver the check, and it's over within 2 hours. Now, it's a tax nightmare for me because I have to make sure our accountant knows this wasn't revenue. It's just a run through.
I know enough about it to know it's not easy. It is literally like running a business. I talk to Tim about it all the time. He's involved in it every single day, all day, doing the back end of it. It's not an easy process, but it's a pee break, evidently.
Well, run, dear, run. Well, and the other thing too is, if you have
It's a
people
full-time
that are
job.
right, and if you have people working for the not-for-profit, they need to get paid as well. So,
Well, people can donate, but you can only donate for so long, right? Or as far as your time, you can only, not a lot of people
have that ability to do
are
that.
retired that can spend 40 or 50 or 60 hours a week.
But someone's got to organize all of that too.
I could
Not
tell you,
my forte.
I could tell you after Ian, it is not, I'm still able-bodied, fortunately, that I could. It's a lot of work. You're certainly thankful that people take the time and send money and send things that you need, but organizing, taking it out of boxes, making sure you're getting it to the people that need it.
Mhm.
It's stress. And then on top of trying to clean up your property, you're trying to help
Right.
other people. It's stressful. It's tiring. I'm a person that the busier I am, the better I
Right.
am, because you don't have time to stop.
That's
and
me.
worry
If
or
I
think
have
or-
if I have too much time, like I did to get
Yeah.
packed, I don't do it till they call and say, "Hey, we're leaving
Yeah.
and pack tonight." So
yeah, I'm and that's why I
You
think
know,
my wife
for-
and I make such a good team. We're completely opposites when it comes to that.
and for us because we are off island, it is easier for us because you guys are down here and you're in it. So if somebody down here is running it, like you said, they're cleaning up their own stuff. They got to save themselves first
Sure.
before they can organize to save
Yeah.
others. At least we're way off island. So we don't typically get the devastation that y'all get down here. And we have a garage, sort of.
I remember
works.
seeing how full that garage was after Ian. There was
Oh, it was crazy.
like, you need to come
The
up and
front
help.
door was completely blocked one day when I came home. I was like, wait a minute. How do
I
I get in here?
I went up there to pick up supplies one time, and
Yeah.
at the time, my other truck had gotten destroyed during Ian, so I had bought an old truck we called the Horse. It was an old 2001 Chevy 3/4 ton pickup with a long bed, which is very hard to find, but that's what I wanted
Yeah.
because I knew that we were going to be needing a lot of stuff hauled and picked up and cleaned, and if you dent the side of it, it's not a big deal.
Right.
So that's what we bought, and I went up there with the Horse. And that thing was over the top with generators
Yep.
that people had donated.
And those aren't cheap. I mean,
No,
those,
I mean,
that's
that
how
was-
much
it was
people
just
love
And they're not
generators.
light either. I think it was you and I lifting
Yeah.
them all because
Yeah,
God
he
knows
was-
where
he was getting his nails done or
I
something.
know.
They delivered pallets of generators
Yeah.
that people had donated. I know Generac generators helped out too, and
So did
uh,
Home Depot, but
yeah.
Tana put us in contact with Home Depot, who got us generators because someone had donated $25,000, but wanted to stay anonymous, and they wanted it specifically to go to generators. So I reached out to Adam Batana, and he put us in contact with someone at Home Depot that was higher up, and they sold Buttonwood at the time. Wasn't an FB Strong at the time yet, but sold Buttonwood all the generators at their cost.
Mm.
So we
Yeah.
were able to get a ton
who
of
wants to?
generators.
Does anybody want to be on our board of directors for their charity in this room here? You come to the show all the time. How many people do you need to have on a board? Do you need to have a board
Yeah, I
for
think
charity?
you
I
Well,
think,
you
I think
you
need-
guys know,
yeah.
right? From the community foundation. Do you have a board? Do you guys? Do they?
It's a lot of paperwork. I mean, I would reach out to Tim and
Yeah.
and all the other people that are involved. I couldn't tell.
I'll have to call Doogie Howser, our attorney, and see what I called the
Do
attorney.
we have any questions on your
Yeah.
face? I mean,
Does
a lot of times
anybody have
people
any
ask
questions? Yeah, no joke. Does anybody have any questions about
Usually
the
there's
storm?
questions that don't make it through that I see afterwards.
Oh, you do? You go back and watch?
Well, I go back to look to see if there's questions and I
Yeah.
can try to answer.
Go up a little bit. The biggest question was about the garbage. So you've addressed that a couple of times. the
Yeah, I
trash
saw a
pickup.
post from Jody. She said that they were on Curlew. That was an hour and a half ago. They were
Okay.
cleaning up on Curlew, so they're out there. They're
They're working today.
working today. Yeah.
And again, you're meeting at 4.
4
Meeting
o'clock.
at 4 o'clock today. Yeah, there's two things on the agenda. It's the state of emergency for Milton, and then the discussion about the meetings this week. Yeah,
Yeah,
which would
somebody,
be the council meeting on Monday, the
LPA.
LPA on Tuesday, and then the MMP on Wednesday.
Yeah. Are they saying the storm is coming through on Wednesday morning, Wednesday
Yeah, right now
afternoon?
they're saying Wednesday morning, but you're going to
Wednesday
see
morning.
the effects starting Tuesday afternoon. I haven't seen the latest update in the last hour, but yeah, Wednesday morning. High tide is early Wednesday morning as
Oh,
well,
boy.
which is not good. So
So if you just were shooting off the cuff now and not the mayor, would you tell people to evacuate?
yeah, I just said it at the beginning.
Yeah, you want them.
He said it
that's
quite
an
a
hour
few
ago,
times.
Dan. I
Yeah,
can't
I
remember
would-
an
I
hour
would-
ago.
If you have the ability
guys
to
leaving?
leave, you should.
They are leaving.
It's if you have a place to go, there's no reason
Jamie
to
is
stay.
quiet over there, but
She's seen enough. She doesn't want to
Yeah.
see any of that again. So, yeah,
Yeah.
he would. Oh,
gotcha.
yeah.
We'll know
What about you guys?
You're staying or going?
I think she's going. Yeah.
Mike, your house is like it's a glutton for punishment. Every time some storm comes through, something happens at your house. It's like
move your pool inside.
you should wear a jock strap so you don't get kicked in the balls anymore. It's like every single time a storm comes through, either your boat thing is flying off in the air, there's water in your house. I mean,
Are
it
those
just seems like
things anymore? Are they
Yeah.
still around?
I don't know.
Yeah, right. Can't. Yeah. How old are you?
Yeah.
Well, and
I am still being bashed for that video of
Why? Why are they bashing you about it?
Well, they say it was a hurricane.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It
Yeah.
was 5 days before
Yeah.
that.
How dare people bash you?
Well,
Somebody
you-
tried to bash her last week, and I just
Well,
blocked
that's
them.
when
I
it
don't
comes
need
to
any
these
of that
storms,
crap.
you've got people that will bash you for anything. We still got people saying, "Why are you wasting money on the berms?" Well, if it wasn't for these berms, these last 3 storms
Right.
Would have been worse.
much worse.
Yeah.
So it's again, it goes back to you. You're never going to make every single person
Right.
happy.
No
You
way,
got to get a
Rebecca.
thicker
Do-
skin.
Rebecca, you got to
Yeah.
be kidding me. I was over there an hour ago. She's saying the sand pile at the tops is gone already. Those were 2 gigantic sand piles. Wow,
Well, I
that's
saw
crazy.
people out there yesterday. There was a lot, but as soon as we're done, I'll make sure I call Andy.
Yeah, they're
The
refilling
staff
it.
is there. It'll get refilled. If
Or just
not,
go down
we'll-
the street. There's a big pile in Times Square.
Stop.
But don't listen to me because it's not really right if you take that sand.
Well, we'll get more sand out there.
Save
We're
your
not
house.
Gonna, we're not
Where are
going
they
to be
getting
sure
that
to
sand
say.
from? When they
Isn't
put
it
it
Usually,
in?
well,
Question.
I don't know where we're pulling it from now. We've gone through 3 piles in the last 2 days.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Yeah, I think I might go back over there and help. If anybody wants to go over there and volunteer there, like I said,
that's
at
a
the
good idea. That's a good idea. If you have your stuff in order and you can help shovel sand, it's not an easy 1-person job.
No,
And,
no, you
and-
got to hold this. You got to hold the bag. There were some ladies over there they got these big shovels in one hand and they were trying to hold the bag open. I'm like, give me that freaking shovel. No way, you can't.
Well, this goes back to what I was saying. We need to have some of the equipment we need to invest in after these chain of
Mhm.
storms. It's going to change, and I think
Yeah.
people's mindset now. I haven't heard anyone say, "What are you waste money?" If we can get
Thank
an
you.
automatic loader if there's things, even just a manual loader, anything we can do to help
that
make
one question?
people
I
get
can't read it.
prepared easier and quicker, we need
Yeah.
to do that.
Well, I don't think there's going to be any looting because I'm going to be standing at the bottom of the bridge with a rifle. Anybody that comes over that looks suspicious, I'm
Have
going
you
to shoot them right in the
have you
nuts.
seen the Lee County Sheriff's Office presidents?
Here.
Yeah. Oh, they're crazy.
They're
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
If you're coming to this island or Sanibel,
Right. And
or
they had
Pine
people
Island
pulled
to
over
loot.
today. They
You-
were setting the tone early today. They were
yeah,
definitely
if
setting the
you're
tone.
coming to do something bad,
Yeah.
bad idea. It's not a matter of if you're going to get caught. You're going to get caught.
Yeah, and when Helene came
At
through,
best, if you
yeah, and when Helene came
At
through,
best, you'll get caught.
the sheriff's department was located everywhere on Estero Boulevard, and I went up to the lady that we know.
Mhm.
I think what I don't.
Colleen?
I think it was her anyway. And I said, "Hey, what's going on?" She goes, "We're just here to make sure that everything runs smoothly because you guys had all the tractors out there and you were trying to clear the place, and they were just making sure that if people got in the way, they were walking up and down Estero, making sure
Yeah.
people weren't just lollygagging around, taking pictures, slowing things down, which always happens after a storm."
Yeah, and we're gonna once the storm comes and it's past, we're gonna be dealing with people wanting to get back on the island.
Diane,
And-
good
and-
idea.
Oh, what's that? Go
She
ahead.
said use a traffic cone for a funnel to fill the sandbags. Didn't know that. That's a good
It
idea.
does help. Yeah, does help.
Yeah, very nice.
Eh,
So-
especially if you're doing it by yourself, that works really
Yeah,
well.
Right.
if you need help filling sandbags over at town hall, just text me and I'll try and if you're a volunteer and you're not doing anything today, go down and help. I mean, help the people out. Everybody loves to help out. You have a
Well,
question?
now this sand is getting
We have
wet.
a question from the live
Come on up.
studio audience. Yes. Hurricane
She-
passes. Good
that's
question.
what I was kind of getting at. Are we going to need our hurricane passes to get back on? Is what she asked. Depending on how bad it is, yes, I would say have them all the time. We will have someone that'll be out there with Lee County Sheriff's Office. There was a little confusion. I wouldn't say confusion, but it wasn't safe to pass through San Carlos Boulevard because the water was still so high. That's why they had the traffic stopped up at Pine Ridge and Bonita Beach Road for
Yeah.
the same reason. It just wasn't safe to pass.
We
So
might score
whether
him.
you had a pass or not, if you're stuck on San Carlos Boulevard, it wouldn't have mattered. And it's something that we have to make a decision the closer we get, because if you implement the hurricane pass, if you don't have one, you're not getting on.
Yeah.
Well, people up north who want to get their house cleaned out are trying to send their contractors on. So it's a no-win situation.
Yeah.
If we implement the pass and then we have to tell 50% of the residents that aren't here that their people
They can't
can't get
get
on,
on.
whether it's their family member, whatever, they can't get on to either secure their home or start cleaning out so they don't have, black mold starting. You're still sitting in the same traffic. I think people understand that whether you're a resident or not, it's not going to alleviate the traffic. You're still going to have the people who are here trying to rebuild houses from Ian. that are trying to get on. You're still going to have the residents trying to get on. You're still going to have the people that are trying to come and help the residents who aren't here that are coming to try to. It's not an easy answer. Because if, like I said, let's just for argument's sake, let's say we have to implement that where you aren't getting on.
Woo!
Oh.
Touchdown. Coming back, baby. Alan
the
Lazard.
The sun does shine on a dog's ass every once in a while.
Oh. 3rd and 10.
Yeah, there you go.
So where do you
As
get?
you're explaining the passes, where do you
Where do you
get the passes?
You can get the passes at Town Hall. If you come in, there'll be someone there that'll be able to issue your passes.
There should be a
if you
football
haven't gotten
game
them
on
already.
every
Are they
time we do this
there
show.
now?
Yeah, there should be someone there to be able to get you a
Okay.
pass.
So you can go now and get a pass
Yeah, so you
if
can go
you
to
need
Town
one.
Hall.
We got it's 11
There's someone
o'clock.
there at 8. If the person there can't get it for you, please let me know. We'll make sure someone is there to
So
get you
listen,
your
being
pass.
that I'm an honorary citizen of Fort Myers Beach,
Mhm.
thanks to the town council,
Oops.
everybody, I think I should have a hurricane pass. I should be able to get on and off the island so
Oh,
I can
my
report to my people.
Lord. You're going to be on the island.
I know, but I don't want to get stuck where I can't get back on to report. I want to be out there,
Have you ever
in
had
the
a
water.
problem getting on?
Never,
All right.
never. I know people. So I just want to, somebody actually, the last Ian, what I didn't know when we really didn't know as many people, gave us their pass, right? We had like 2
I
passes that
have
people.
no knowledge
Yeah,
of that.
that was when it was purple. So I don't even
See,
think he
that's
still
a-
lives
you
on
know,
the island. Don't share your passes with reporters. We don't want
No,
any reporters
no.
on this island except for me. We don't want the Wink people here, the NBC people here. I'm kidding.
But to answer
We
your
love them
question,
all.
it really, I mean, it's Ian is when the passes should have been implemented.
Yeah, that was a whole
The last few
clusterfester.
storms, you're never going to make everyone.
Do you feel
happy.
like you're totally organized for a big storm? Totally 100% organized? You're going to take care of
I think we're
business?
as organized as we can be.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think, with the fire district and with Lee County Sheriff's Office and with the county and with our, our partners
Right.
up to in Sanibel
Certainly
and,
had a
and
lot of
Bonita,
practice.
we're as organized as we can be. Obviously, every storm is different.
Right.
There's a lot of people moving in a lot of different directions, but what makes it difficult is when just using the passes, for example, when you have to make that decision where if you don't have this pass, you're not getting on. There's 50% of the other people who aren't here that are going to be screaming that we need to
That
get on
was
the
the
island.
wrong
we
But
need to
the
get
call.
on
thing
the
is,
Yeah,
island.
if
yeah,
people
yeah.
don't have a pass by now, they really haven't been paying attention. I mean, you guys have
I-
really
I-
been
you know-
promoting the passes thing. Like, you really should have your pass.
I mean, if you have,
If you don't have a pass, you shouldn't be allowed on.
It-
It's been like after Ian, you
Depending on
guys
how bad it
constantly
gets, yeah.
promoted the hurricane pass thing. So
well, and there was, after this storm 10 days ago, whatever, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, they, people were upset. There was a lot of false stuff out there that
Right.
I'm getting calls and emails and text messages. Why is it closed down? Why can't we
oh,
get
I
on
know
the island? It's
the
like,
whole
it's
thing about
not
the bridge
closed.
being closed.
Yeah.
I don't know where people got that from. It never happened.
And it takes time to tamp that back down.
Yeah.
And then they were complaining about the traffic to get down the island. We can only tell so many people. Unfortunately, with devastation like that,
Yeah.
people are going to come to take
Right.
pictures and post them on social media and get their likes and do what they want to do. God forbid they put their phone down and grab a shovel and actually be
Right.
productive.
Right.
But,
Right. Go to town hall.
if you're
and
going to go,
shovel.
if you're going to go somewhere to look at the damage, at
At
least
least
be part
help.
of the solution.
Yeah.
Don't be part of the problem.
All right. We'll let you go, Dan. We got a lot to do today. We got an hour
All right.
away from the Lee County Board meeting. So big hand
All right,
for the
thanks.
mayor of
Be
Fort
ready,
Myers
guys.
Beach,
Be
everybody.
prepared.
Whoa, that was weird. So at 12 o'clock, I'm gonna stay here. We're gonna stay here until at least 12 so that we can rebroadcast the county meeting. And then at 4 o'clock, is it 4 o'clock or 4:30? 4 o'clock, the town council is going to meet, and in all likelihood, they'll make it official that there'll be no meetings tomorrow, Tuesday, or Wednesday. And you know what, folks? Just take a deep breath, and you'll all be okay. If you feel like getting off the island, get off the island now. Get a hotel room or go find somebody in Fort Myers and just park in their driveway. I mean, what are they going to do? They're just squat in their driveway or something. Or maybe you have friends in Fort Myers in Gateway. We have lots of room in Gateway. Like we have an empty bedroom starting Tuesday. You can come. Oh, I mean, I don't want any dudes coming to my house and staying, but we'll be here broadcasting live starting Wednesday, maybe Tuesday night. Thank you all for tuning in, and stay tuned for the Lee County meeting at 12 o'clock. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.